Welcome to the 50th video in the series, Foundations of Communist Organizing. Today we'll be going over the 1965 piece by Bordiga, Considerations on the Organic Activity of the Party when the General Situation is Historically Unfavorable. I've summarized this as rigid principles and fluid tactics weather counter-revolutionary storms and lulls. While objective and subjective conditions for revolutionary action are unfavorable, the party needs to tread a careful line to protect itself and thereby the program, aiming to resist any opportunism by maintaining the correct line until conditions emerge again for the proletariat to adopt that line. This involves 1. Rejecting any Blanquist position such as sects, elites, or conspiracy. The Vanguard, in a period of retreat, needs to keep the whole of the party immunized from opportunist relations with the middle class, which will produce such conceptions and with it, a loss of activity and revolutionary capacity. 2. Maintaining external contact with the economic organs of the workers and through propaganda publication. Theoretical work currently can be carried out external to official publication by Petit-Bourgeois sympathizers who do textual and contemporary analysis. The party line remains invariant, but it analyzes the theoretical contributions made to determine the quality of historical conception by the party and evidence it to the proletariat. 3. Rejecting any Workerism or Laborism. And finally, 4. Making sure the party does not find itself only holding on to the cultural, intellectual, and scholarly types. This can be maintained by keeping a unitary party, without division between those engaged in theoretical work versus those engaged in militant work. All party members should be involved, directly or indirectly, in all aspects of party work. The character of the unitary structure of the party should be one in which there is organic development and reseeding of the various organs of the party to engage in the various necessary kinds of work. An example of this is the need for dynamic and personal organizational structure for the various sections of the party, as one section might need a particular subsection, and another might not. The party, a rising outclass struggle as the fittest form of organization to protect the program, can have characteristics deduced from that necessity on its forms and function. Therefore, since we can say concrete things about the program and the historical necessity to protect it, we can say things about the formal structure of the party in a likewise invariant manner. The party needs to be both derived out of historical struggle and formal at any given time it emerges, being at once dynamic and fit for current conditions, while maintaining its historical invariant program. It needs to maintain the principle of globally centralized discipline. It needs to verify its doctrine and praxis utilizing predictions, engaging in daily and constant activity, working alongside the proletariat in their forms of organization that do not naturally engage with bourgeois structures. And what it means by this predictions. Basically, the party should be going out and trying to predict what kind of movements are going to be happening within the economic, social, and so on spheres, and then testing those predictions against reality. If their predictions are incorrect, then that means that there's some sort of issue in the party's conceptions of their historically specific conditions, and therefore they need to reorient and come to a greater understanding. There's something that they're missing. It's scientific, right? Continuing. This means that there can be no concessions to democratic, pacifist, autonomist, or libertarian tendencies, or any bourgeois influences within it such as personal aggrandizement. All members should be directed away from any careerist aspirations. The main purpose of the minority of the class, which makes up the party at this time, is to restore principles and doctrine internally and externally. Action, therefore, should only be taken if it does not risk either the party materially or the party's principles, which means any opportunist tactics, even if expedient, should be rejected. Under favorable conditions, the masses will join with the party spontaneously, and the party needs to have both the capacity to absorb them materially, organizationally, and in terms of its program. And it is at that point that the party needs to be a well-oiled machine capable of acting as the proletariat's general staff. It is at this point that the proletariat as a whole will have the drive to create and develop communist consciousness. It is at this point that leaders arise. There is a revolutionary development of theory, and the party takes on a military form. And that is my summary of Bordiga's considerations on the organic activity of the party when the general situation is historically unfavorable. As usual, if you'd like to find the quotations that I derive this summary from, you can go into the description below and you will find a link to this Google document. In addition, you'll also find a link to United Marxist Pact Discord server. We would love to talk about this, or you, if you are interested in talking about yourself, I suppose, within the Discord server at any time. So please consider giving a join. Tomorrow, we will be going over the 1970 piece by Onorato Daman, Amadeo Bordiga, Beyond the Myth and the Rhetoric. And that is it for today's topical summary. I hope to see you tomorrow.